This is John Kola with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today another exciting episode for you. And this is Growing Your Greens in a Minute. So I'm going to try to talk fast, make this a pretty quick episode for you guys. Just sharing my gardening wisdom with you guys today. So yesterday I was actually trellising up my Malabar spinach here. As you guys can see over on this side, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's just hanging down and it's growing all wild. And this thing was like growing up through my collards and my papillo behind it, and it just was wrapping up there because I gave it no other option, because actually I had not put this trellis in until yesterday, and then I started wrapping all the vines around it, you know, very carefully, like unfurling each one and then training each one to go along the trellis. I think it looks pretty good myself. What do you guys think? But doing this takes some skills, and some skills that also, on a larger sense, you know, that can be helpful for you in gardening. So while I was doing this, I was thinking, man, this is a pain, which starts with a P, but actually I was like, not really thinking it was a pain. I was like, you know, how is this a good thing, John? Well, and that's what I want to get into today, the 5 P's of gardening, or trellising up my Malabar spinach, right? 'Cause it's always good to take a breath in the garden and relax, right? And remember that you're in the garden, and I love being out in the garden. I love actually doing this kind of work, not being on a computer, being out in the sun, being out in nature, and just having the challenge of like separating out each of these guys that are like twisted around each other, unwinding them very carefully so that I don't damage them, and then trellising them up so that it looks nice, and then they start to take off, and literally in just like a month we'll fill this whole trellis here with lots of edible food for me. All right. So anyways, let's get into the 5 P's of gardening today. So the first P is patience. I have to have a lot of patience when I'm, you know, unfurling and unwrapping these guys that are wrapped around all the different plants in here. And take time with your gardening, right? I encourage you guys to take time to do everything in life that you want to do. That's important to you because you set your priorities in life. So have some patience, whether that's with your plants or, more importantly, with other people, you know, in your life, and have patience and take some time, you know, to do it right. Number 2 P of gardening is perseverance. This is probably one of the most important aspects of gardening that I want you guys, and think you guys should have. It's perseverance. Even when there's struggles, even in the 100+ degree weather, when I lose the majority of my cucumber crop this year, right? I'm not going to say it doesn't get me down. It makes me sad, but at the same time, it gives me opportunity to use that space to grow something else. Like I dug up some of my Malabar spinach that grew in this bed. You know, it's self-seeded, grew on its own, and then I moved them to see how well they would transplant. And actually, it looks like maybe less than 50% of the ones I transplanted made it. So generally, they like to kind of stay where they are and not be transplanted. The ones that did make it, you know, I did have larger balls of soil, and or they were smaller. But have perseverance to just persevere and continue through despite any obstacles or challenges. And, you know, especially like when I'm doing this and I break one, I might say some bad words because I'm upset in the moment. Because, like, I don't want to hurt my plants. They're going to provide me food, and if I break a tip off, man, it's going to take a long time for that plant to regenerate and grow a new tip and a new growing shoot. But at the same time, I know that, you know, hey, I messed up, and let's just compost the tip, or I shove it in my mouth and eat it and move on. Number 3, be persistent. Not only in your garden, but also in life. You know, I mean, I was heard from a guy once that, you know, the way to go out with a girl, if she says no the first time, is just keep asking her. And, you know, actually in sales, that's one of the tips for sales is, you know, keep asking for the sale so that you're going to get it, and be persistent. I mean, not be persistent and bothersome. Of course, when you're being persistent in your garden, I'm going to bother you, plants. I'm being persistent. I doubt that they're going to be bothered. And actually, they may like some physical touching and you talking to them. But nonetheless, be persistent in your garden, and with gardening, it's very important in anything in life, including the gardening. 4th P is perceive as fun, right? I know a lot of you guys just love being out gardening, But some of you guys may feel guilty when you're out gardening because you think you should be on the computer, you should be working, you should be doing something else. But I want you guys to perceive gardening as fun, because not only are you perceiving it and should believe it's fun, it is fun. I mean, our hands are meant to work with plants, to eat plants, to pick plants, to harvest plants. And I just want you guys having fun at it. So perceive it as fun minimally, but just know it's fun and that you're blessed to be able to be alive today and work in your garden. 5th P of gardening for this episode today is practice. You know, the more I untangle different Malabar spinach vines, and yesterday I was actually untangling chayote squash vines, which I'll tell you in advance, like, the Malabar spinach is fairly easy to untangle, unfurl. They're not so brittle. They're kind of bendable and shiftable. But the chayote squash vine, those plants are much more fragile and breakable. Like, I broke a bunch of those guys and just cut them back and figured, all right, they're going to grow back and stuff. But yeah, practice makes perfect when trying to trellis these guys up. And if at first you don't succeed, try again. And yeah, practice in your gardening. You know, even medical doctors, right? They're practicing medicine because they don't know it all. I don't know everything as a gardener. Neither do you guys. I'm always learning new stuff. So I want you guys to continually practice, learn, and grow and become better gardeners. All right, so I have one last P for you. It's the 6th P. And I think after this, I got to take a P. The 6th P of this video is the bonus one. And because I've been trellising all these up, because these guys were all volunteers in this bed, I did not space them in the garden, so I knew where they were coming up. The 6th P is plant spacing. So whether you're planting a tree that needs to have a nice, large, growth area, or whether you're planting a pepper or Malabar spinach, I want you guys to use plant spacing to your advantage and plant space things properly. I like to use the square foot gardening method plant spacing or biointensive plant spacing in my tight garden. But if you have acreage in a field, then you'd want to use, different spacing. The Malabar spinach, in my opinion, should probably be spaced out about every 6 to 8 inches, apart. And then, very important, trellis them up. Because this bed was unplanned and these were all volunteers, they just kind of came up where they came up, and then I went in after the fact and to put in trellises, and then I had to unfurl them, untangle them, and take some time and practice and persevere. But I didn't persecute my Malabar spinach to get them all trellised up. So you guys can prevent this from happening by properly spacing your plants. And if you do have volunteers, many times if a volunteer is not in the right place, yeah, that's another P. I'll place them in another place. All right, anyways. So anyways, that's the end of this quick episode for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this quick tidbits from the garden that I like to share with you guys, hey, please give a thumbs up, because, aside from just teaching you guys garden, I want to teach you guys about life and about things that I've learned in my life and habits and things to do that could only improve your life. And that's why I make these videos for you guys, for you guys and also my future kids that hopefully one day will get to watch my videos and be proud of their dad. In any case, so if you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please give me a thumbs up to let me know. I'll do more gardening tips like this. Also, be sure to click the subscribe button right down below to be notified of my new and upcoming episodes I have coming out about every 3 to 4 days. Also, be sure to share this video with someone you think it may help. And of course, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, and I think I'm up to over 1,200 videos now on YouTube, all available for free for you guys anytime, so you guys could learn how to grow some of the best quality food in the world in your backyard or front yard. So once again, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep on growing. All right, this is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today been another exciting episode for you here, coming at you from the backyard garden here. And every day it's been over 100 degrees, maybe except for last week. There's a